to talk about something else, student loans. You're a constitutional lawyer, scholar. Did I miss something, or did the Supreme Court say the president does not have the authority to cancel student loans? I'm not a lawyer, Lord knows.
They have no regard for what the court says. They don't respect it, and these are all political ploys. But this is the idea that you would shift the cost to people who chose not to pursue a degree. Somebody goes and gets a $200,000 master's degree in, European poetry or something. To say that we're going to make moms and dads who didn't go to school, who had to go, work hard, and they're trying to feed their family, that they should pay for that is again, immoral. Everything that they're proposing is. We got to make sure people understand, because they don't, Larry, as you know. You don't just wave away the debt. It doesn't disappear. You shift it to everyone else, and it's wrong. And once people understand that, when they're made to understand it, I explain it in terms, when I talk to college students, university students, young people, I say, imagine we all went to dinner tonight, and you're trying to, you're trying to live on a budget, and you decide to order the less expensive entree, and you drink water for the meal, and you try to be a good financial steward of your limited resources, but all your friends drink and order the most expensive wine and the most expensive item on the table, and then the bill comes, and they say, let's all divide it equally. How do you feel about that? Okay, well, that's Kamala Harris's economic plan, right? If you're on board for that, then go vote for her. If you're not, if you want fairness, if you want to reward financial responsibility and stewardship, then you need to be thinking on our side. I will say this. One of the reasons I'm so optimistic about this election cycle is that I've been traveling the country nonstop, and I believe that we are going to see, when the math is done post-election, that we're going to have a demographic shift in the electorate this time. I believe we're going to have a record number of Hispanic and Latino voters, and Black and African American voters, and the Jewish community so energized for our side. People are fed up with the way things are. They're fed up with the cost of living and the rising crime rates and the open border and the weakness on the world stage. And they're looking for solutions. And so we have candidates who have the right answers to all the great challenges, Larry. We know the policy prescriptions, and when we produce that in the right, we present that in the right tone, it makes a world of difference. So that's our burden right now, all of us. Our responsibility is to make sure we're talking about this. Don't assume that people understand these basic truths anymore, because they don't.
Look, there's roughly, it's either 1.6 or 1.7 trillion dollar loan portfolio. It's sitting in the Department of Education in its entirety as a result of some Obama regulatory changes. I looked at this when I was at the NEC. There are no people in the Education Department that have ever done any credit work or income analysis, no credit analysis. So it's in the wrong agency. So I guess one thing I'd ask you, if you are able to, if you have the levers of power to do this, number one, can we move the loan portfolio out of the Education Department? At the very minimum, put it in the Federal Financing Bank run by the Treasury. They know something about workouts. That's a possibility. And number two, why not return to private lending, where you have banks and other non-bank lenders who do know something about creditworthiness, credit analysis, and how to read an income statement. I mean, Obama said no more private lending. It strikes me that was an enormous mistake, and one of the progenitors of this whole catastrophe.
Yeah, of course. And anytime you take the free market components out of something, the costs are going to go up. And we have these universities that have not been good stewards of those resources at all. In fact, after the rise of the anti-Semitism and all the madness that we've seen exposed now on these campuses, we're looking very closely at these billion-dollar endowments that they have that they're allowed to keep tax-free. We're looking at, the student visa program. If you, by the way, if you're a young aspiring terrorist in some Middle Eastern nation, you don't get to come here and come to our university campuses on our dime and terrorize your Jewish classmates, right? Like, that's, hello, that shouldn't be allowed. We're looking at all the funding streams that all these universities get, and the reason the cost of education has skyrocketed is because the government has intervened too much and done all this. That's what makes the cost go up and, frankly, the quality go down.